And at the end, you've got investment banking. Now, when you look at investment banking, you take it a step down. You've got two types of investment banking. You've got public investment banking and private investment banking.
And I know a lot of you people do this. You hear something and automatically you approach the guy and say, look, what you're doing is haram. Wagwan, it's your boy, Man Like Sanaan here, again with another fantastic video. I know this one is probably the one I've been anticipating the most. Not going to gas this guy up, but I'll be honest with you, you have to give him credit. He's the guy that sort of instigated this whole thing. He told me, look, use your channel to sort of encourage others to learn about careers, because I know it's difficult to come and just attend a careers fair. They can be quite boring. So this is the best way for me to get across to you guys what different career pathways there are. I'm not going to blow smoke up this man's backside, but I'll be honest with you, bro, this guy's turned what we see as fiction and what we see in films into a reality. If you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, okay, this is basically your Cardiff equivalent of The Wolf of Wall Street. He is an investment banker, so come on in, Karim. Assalamu alaikum.
Sanaan, how are you? Okay?
It's nice to see you, mate.
Nice to see you, always.
Especially with your busy schedule. It's a difficult man to get on the show, to be honest. So just give them an introduction which you probably prefer about yourself.
No, I mean, in a nutshell, Sanaan's right. I work in investment banking, and alhamdulillah, I specialize in equities, so that's stocks and shares, and I do company analysis. I cover media and internet companies. Most people don't really know a lot about investment banking. It's kind of what you see in the movies and what you see on your social media. There's a lot of misconceptions there.
Okay, Karim, so we know a bit about you. What is your job title and what is it that you actually do for those that don't know?
Okay, so me specifically, my job title is an equity research analyst. Now, it's quite self-explanatory. Equities, that's stocks. So okay. I don't look at oil, gas, that kind of. I don't look at foreign exchange. I'm just purely on companies that are listed.
Okay.
And I'm a research analyst for them. It means I get my own sector, and it's my job to keep up to date with the 10, 15, 20 companies in my sector and make sure I'm totally up to date with their finances, how they're doing, how they're performing, meet their management teams, you know, the CEOs, the CFOs, wherever, keep in touch, and also be a point of call for people who want to make investments. They'll call me for my opinion on the company. There's one of me probably in every bank. Okay. So then when an investor comes, he speaks. So the way that you do well is you build a reputation of being someone who's got clinical insight, or, you know, like he says things, I see things better than other people.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
You spot little things, trends, that kind of thing.
Just want to assimilate a bit better. Like medicine, people get to specialize and choose what area they like to go into. Did you choose to go into media, or is it something you're sort of directed and forced into sort of?
No, so the sector media itself, I didn't choose, but I definitely chose equity research. There's 4 types of banking. Okay. You've got retail banking, that's your branch down the road. You know, they open your accounts, you manage savings, that kind of thing. Then there is your private banking, which you can imagine that's retail banking for ultra rich people. Inshallah, may we all be part of the private bank soon.
I mean, well, we're rich inside, we don't measure it by it.
Of course, I mean. And then there's corporate banking, which is basically retail banking, but for companies. So imagine instead of Sanaan having an account, you've got Asda has their bank account, right? That's corporate banking. And at the end, you've got investment banking. Now, when you look at investment banking, you take it a step down. You've got 2 types of investment banking. You've got public investment banking and private investment banking.
Okay.
Okay. So this is where we're not going to go into too much detail, but basically public is anything that's listed. So you look at all your stocks and shares, that's all like listed. And all their details are online. They have to publish them, that kind of thing.
Right.
For foreign exchange, anything to do with the markets is public.
Okay.
Now, private is things like mergers and acquisitions, when a company buys out another company, or a company wants to list on the market, or a company wants to raise funds from investors. This is all the private side.
Okay.
And then you come down, and in public, so where I'm in, it goes down even further into 3 roles. You've got research, which I'm in, there's trading, and then there's sales. So basically what happens is the salesperson will try and call investors and say, hey, we've been looking at the stock market, we're thinking this 1, 2, 3 looks good. Now, the salesperson will then say, you know, and if the investor's interested, the salesperson says, you know what, let me transfer you to my research analyst, he's the expert. Then he'll speak to me. If he gets convinced, he'll then call the trader and says, hey, make the trade.
Okay, now I don't want this to be a silly question, you probably get this a lot, but what are the actual routes into becoming an investment banker? Because I know a lot of people are just clueless when it comes to this.
Yeah, I was clueless as well. When you look at banking, like the consensus of people who go into banking, they're usually your more typical, more private educated, upper class.
That's what you think, isn't it?
That's what you think. I mean, that is true. I mean, it's changed a lot over the years, say from 20 years ago, but that is still predominantly the proportion of people that go there. You know, it's because they get trained from a very young age on how to get there. There's certain routes and certain quirks that if you miss out on, or a certain time frame you need to do things by, that if you don't, it can severely hinder you getting it. So obviously the way that I combated that, and the way that anyone else can combat that, like with anything in life, to make up for any disadvantage we might have growing up, is you just have to graft. You have to work twice as hard.
Tell us straight. Tell us how competitive it is. We need to know. I hear it's the most competitive graduate
Yeah,
job you can get anywhere.
Yeah, so investment banking is the most competitive graduate job.
So you have to value that I got this guy on the show for you guys. Okay, this is the most competitive graduate job out there, and subhanAllah, I managed to get you an insight into it. So alhamdulillah.
So yeah, so I think people say usually on some internships or the application process until you get a job, you're looking about 1,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1.
1,200 to 1.
1,200.
For a space.
The fraction of a percent of a chance of you getting the job, even with the skill set of people around you. That
I mean, there's something you have to consider as well. When you say 1,000 to 1, that's 1,000 A-star students coming from top unis, right? It's not like 1,000 to 1 in general. People.
Yeah, exactly. It's
apply.
It's the top of the top. It's the creme de la creme.
First of all, as a skill set, you need to be very sharp with numbers. I know a lot of people who are businessmen who are just, numbers come easy. You can work with them. You can calculate them. You think in numbers. So going through your GCSEs, your A levels, me particularly, I would recommend doing further maths. I think more so even than doing, say, economics or business studies.
I saw this guy the year above. Okay, he did further maths, and people looked at him. Wallahi, they looked at him like he had the key to life or something, bro. This guy walking around, I do maths and further maths. This guy, bro, go on.
No. You know what? Honestly, if anyone out there likes maths, don't be put up with further maths. At the end of the day, you just be doing more lessons that you actually kind of enjoy, And then when you come into application, so in general, when you're going to university, it's quite important what university you pick. Investment banks are, and it's another debate if that's fair or unfair, they usually just recruit from the top 5, 6, 7 universities.
What are they?
Right. So you start off, obviously you've got your Oxford, your Cambridge, you've got your LSE, you've got your Warwick, you've got Imperial College, you've got your Durham, then potentially UCL is in there.
I know there are people in my audience that are very, very academic, very high achieving. Please do listen to this. Okay, this may be beneficial to you. And please, other people that are of the age, please do consider these things. I know you might be put off by all the academic side, but it is achievable and you can do it. Because I don't want to violate Karim. I know him. He works very, very hard. Okay, but if Karim can do it,
everyone, honestly, and I say this to everyone. I've had a lot of people when I speak to some of friends of friends or younger friends when I try and give advice, should never have this stigma that something's unachievable because of academia.
Exactly.
Honestly, end of the day, it's a direct correlation between how much effort you put in and the results that you get. Honestly, I'm one of the strong believers that someone who says, "Oh, but I'm just not academically gifted." And this might sound harsh. I don't buy that more. I just think, hey, you need to put more effort in.
Okay, so carry on. So back onto those top universities.
So those universities now, the most common courses now people going into banking from mathematics, statistics, economics, investment management, business management.
Is there no actual course called investment banking?
No, believe it or not, there actually isn't.
There we go. So just clear that misconception.
No. There's nothing called banking either.
Oh, okay.
It's because you're just using all these skills. It's very different to say law or engineering, where you do law, you become a lawyer. There's no investment banking, you become an investment banker. Definitely don't think you can't get into banking in the future if you do something like, I don't know, chemistry or engineering. Those are actually sought after, and that's why sometimes you have quite niche teams in banking who say only cover pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
You having a master's degree.
That's why it makes sense to do those.
100%. I mean, for example, I'll give an example. In where I work, there's a team that covers pharmaceutical companies. All of them are either PhDs or master's degree in pharmacy, and it gives you an edge. It actually does, because at the end of the day, if you're a pharmacy student, when you come and deal with pharmaceutical companies, you have that edge over, say, an accounting or finance student who knows his numbers inside out, but you know the company. But I think what's also very important is you need to have a very beefy CV.
How do you beef up your CV then?
Basically, in a nutshell, from a young age, try and do any kind of work experience, even if it's unpaid, even if it's a slug, even if it's boring, just do it. I was 14, I spent my summers in a bank in town, refilling cash machines. I would just go into branches and I'll speak to the manager.
Okay.
And I'll sit down and I'll be like, I'm a student, I'm thinking about banking in the future. Is there anything, I don't know, I can't be doing certain roles.
Okay.
And then he's like, okay, if you want, you can come in 3 times a week and you can help us with this, and we'll give you a letter after confirming that you did some work experience with. I was like, you know what, great. Obviously this is unpaid, he's going there, nothing. And at the end of the day, I could be doing anything else. I could have been enjoying my summer, but it's having that mindset where I'm going to do anything that I want, anything that I have to succeed, right? You can get open days at most big banks now. You can go for like a couple of days where they'll invite you and they give you a tour of the bank.
Yeah.
There's like scholarship schemes where you can do internships. So I've been working every summer since literally I was 14. It's very easy for people who say, oh, we can't get work experience. Yes, it might not have a traditional route where you go onto a website and you send your CV and apply, but that doesn't mean, pick up the phone, send an email. You'll be very surprised at how willing people are to help someone young who they can tell has a real interest and a passion in something.
Okay.
They'll go out of their way to help. In your first year of university, all the banks open a spring week. All right, a spring week, imagine this as if it's like a 1 week open day during Easter time. All right. It's very competitive. That's the same thing. You have to apply, you get interviewed for it. It's very, very rigorous, but try your best as much as you can to send as many applications. So me, for example, my spring weeks, I sent, if I remember, 37 applications and I got 2. If you're in a spring week, at the end, you get fast-tracked to a summer internship. And then in the summer internship, you get fast-tracked onto the graduate job.
Okay.
So for example, if I don't get a spring week and in my second year I want to get an internship,
okay,
they'll be like, hey, yeah, but we've already filled 80% of the spaces from spring week candidates. You're like, oh, but I haven't even been there. And you're automatically at a disadvantage. Then you have the grad scheme. They say we filled it from 80% from our summer internships, of which 80% of those were from the spring week.
I know I've got a lot of young people listening. I'm talking to you, all right? Stop wasting your time doing random things on Snapchat and Instagram, going live. You should be filling in these little applications. You should be going to banks and places you want to go to. Get your foot in the door now. This is something I didn't know when I was a kid. No one told me. My parents were just like, go home, bar means study. Just please do something. This is my advice to you. This is why I'm making these videos, is for you guys.
You need to have a CV built of experience and extracurriculars where to any recruiter, they'll be like, you know what, this guy really demonstrates that he actually wants to do this up from a really young age. Okay. Think about it as well, for them it's business, right? If Sanaan comes after 6 months and says, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm going to leave this job, that's basically a write-off for the company. It's just showing that commitment from an early age, that this person is serious and he's really, really thought about this and this is what he's set his heart on. And you have to give the recruiter that kind of reassurance.
Please, you need to clarify this one, okay?
Okay.
This is for Asians and aunties and uncles and anyone else that knows anything about Islam. How does this career fit into your religion?
But the way I think about it is, imagine having like a sea of things that you can't do. There's a lot of pockets of halal which are totally legit and you can work
okay, that's nice,
right?
nice.
Without touching it. And I think investment banking is more so, from an Islamic perspective, it's more so halal than a lot of the other 3 types of banking I was telling you. Okay. Because investment banking doesn't deal with loans or savings or mortgages or anything to do with the riba or interest. Now, the way that I think about banking in general, and this is actually just a general advice, I get a lot of people ask me about things like spread betting and CFDs. And you see it's all over Instagram, and you have a lot of people on Instagram saying, pushing these apps and so on. The way from an Islamic perspective, and it's very carte blanche that, just think about it, is if you own something, it's totally halal, right? Okay. If I buy a share in man like Sanaan Incorporated,
Insha Allah,
it means I own a share and it's mine. I can buy it and then I can sell it. Even if I make money, if I double my money, if I lose money, wherever. It's like me going to the market, buying an apple, and then coming here to the mosque and selling it to Sanaan. If I'm a very good trader and I make a profit, well, good for me. Now, the misconception is when you don't own something, now something like spread betting, you make money based on the movement of a stock, but you never actually own it. If you own the underlying asset, alhamdulillah, it is halal. And I think from investment banking, I'm not happy to speak to anyone like more privately if they want to ask in general. Yeah, I've done a lot of research and I feel like don't be put off by a stigma. Research it yourself. Research it to the point where you in yourself are content. Do istikhara, and if you're happy within your heart that you feel that it's okay, alhamdulillah, go for it. Don't be peer pressured, because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to finance, there are only very few people that are actually experienced enough to actually give advice.
Okay, I want to back you here, Karim, okay? I know he had so much so much stick from people that, I'll be honest with you, had not a single ounce of knowledge in the department. They just heard something from someone else. And I know a lot of you people do this. You hear something and automatically you approach the guy and say, look, what you're doing is haram. Do you know how serious it is to say that something is haram without actually knowing? Because this man, I know he's done more research. From the age of 14, he knew what he wanted to do, or he knew what he was going towards. Do you not think he does more research than you do? So I just need you to know, and this is not just a general rule, okay?
No, general fair.
It's a general rule.
Any career or
any
general,
career. Do not go in there and say what you're
trap.
doing is haram, because I don't agree with that. That's something that frustrates me. I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice. Okay, so mad question, but most people want to work and then ultimately get married, isn't it? Because that's how we sort of go. So did your course help you get married?
Well, I'm not married, so
well,
that answers that.
What is the career progression, and what is it even worth it in the end?
Okay, so it's probably the highest paid grad job at uni. Okay, just straight up, that's what it is. And but please,
read me on that.
no. But one thing I'll put a massive disclaimer on: do not, please do not decide on this based on the salary or the pay. Now, on paper, it might be the highest paid, but so I know sometimes, you know, when I speak to him, the hours that you will end up pulling, the shifts that you will end up pulling, if you look at it per hour, you're probably less than a lot of jobs, right? Like net, you might be getting a big number coming into your bank account every year, but you'll be giving up a typical life in your first 4 to 5 years in banking. You're coming in, like me, you're coming in at 6:30 a.m.
Jeez, early starts.
You know, days that end, your average, you're probably finishing at around 8:39. That's an average. It can get bad, really bad days, you're going home at 1 a.m.
Do you have like a trade union or anything that can say to you, no, you should be working this many hours? Because I know train drivers going on strike every other day. So
yeah.
Where's your trade union, bro?
Okay, so the way it works is, the way they compensate that, and to make people agree to do it,
Okay.
is at the end of the year you get a bonus.
Bonus.
Okay,
That's what we're
so
talking
this
about.
is and then, again, another key term that rings bells. Oh, these banker bonuses.
Yeah.
But
They work for them
why
bonuses,
they
man.
work very hard for their bonus. What the bonus does is it tops up your salary, so that by the end of the year, if you count your per hour average, it's up there with the other good jobs.
Okay.
Right? It has to be paid. I mean, and it is why it's made such a big deal of. It's not just, a lot of people have this conception that bankers work 9 to 5, get their wage, and then they get a big fat bonus. The bonus is the way the bank says thank you for you pulling them 17, 18-hour shifts every day, because your normal wage, on a normal wage with those hours, you're making less than most jobs.
What is your work-life balance like?
It's more of a work balance, to be honest. And it's funny because I really related to what Nabil said, that in my first year, I actually hated it. For a lot of days during the week, you kind of get to the schedule where you get home just in the nick of time so you can get to sleep to have adequate rest. It's like this evening time kind of gets scrapped, especially in the first couple of years as junior banker. There is a way of doing it. I try and keep a calendar for a week ahead with the things I'm doing, even if it's things like I want to leave today at 8 o'clock. It's all about, you have to be a lot more organised and very more regimented.
You are the most organised people on the planet, isn't it? It's the most
important
thing.
Yeah,
how
exactly.
much more organised you have to be. Yo, I thought you said that they had like a gym and things like that in your workplace, you know?
Yeah, they're there, but the problem is leaving your desk to go. Especially when you're in a markets role, right? Now, a markets role is you're always plugged into the markets. It's live, it's happening live. You can't just leave and then come back and make it up later, because you need to be there at that certain time. Okay,
this is a mad question, man. Be honest, how many rishtas, i.e. proposals, marriage proposals, have you received?
I was going to give that translation. I have no idea what that was. How marriage role have I received? Oh, none. No.
Brexit or Remain?
Where I'm working, I try not to get too involved in politics. Like if people ask me, oh, you're obviously a Tory because you're a banker. I'm not a Tory, but I'm not Labour either. I'm just like, you know, I just look at things objectively from an economic perspective, and economically, as it is right now, Brexit is the worst solution out of the two.
Karim, please, I know you've had loads of these, yeah, so give me your most embarrassing moments of them all. You're going red already, bro.
I know.
It must be quite embarrassing.
Oh,
Tell us.
This must be really embarrassing. At one point, I had information that is very secretive and I had to come out at a certain time because the market didn't know about it. And then accidentally, instead of sending it to, I was supposed to send it to, it was supposed to come out at a certain time, say, I don't know, 7 o'clock. Okay. I accidentally sent a mass email to all our clients at 6:30 with the information.
Karim, don't lie now. Have you got a marriage profile on Muzmatch?
What's Muzmatch?
Okay, he doesn't. 5 top tips for anyone that's sort of interested in the field or just in general.
Be very organised from a young age and know what you want to do. Be concise have an action plan, right? Plan ahead. Think 2-3 years down the line. That's number one. Number two, smash your academics. I know it's boring. None of us like studying. None of us like grinding. It's just, it is what it is. Number three is be ambitious, aim high. 4, I would say, is be very personal in your choice of career path. We work for 20-30 years in this job, and it's only you. And all those people who give you advice, they probably won't be around you to accept the good and the bad of the decision that you've made. And number 5, alhamdulillah, whatever you decide to do, whether it's successful or not, it's all in the hands of Allah. Make sure to always have the deen as your pillar. Reach a point of contentment where you know you've done everything that you could do, and then the rest just leave it to Allah. You know, on a more spiritual note.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. I'll be honest with you, man. This guy's voice is so
therapeutic.
Therapeutic. He's got these raspy undertones, man. I can listen to this guy all day. Okay, but yeah, that's another beautiful way to summarize. There's so much information in that video, so please feel free to rewind and listen to things again, because it's not going to sink in straight away. A lot of the stuff he said is important, and you need to hear things over and over again before it actually sinks in. So don't expect things to be handed to you on a plate. Karim wasn't just given this, he worked very hard. Crispy Kaz on Instagram, yeah?
Crispy Kaz.
If you have any actual inquiries, legitimate inquiries now, please do message this guy directly. Okay, I'm going to kick the camera because that's what I usually do when I finish the video. Otherwise, I kick the camera, but yeah, safe.